Hey everyone, in today's video, we're going to step-by-step build workflows that will automatically generate and post AI-generated videos just for you. As you may have known, AI-generated videos are getting more and more popular on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and those kinds of videos are getting a lot of views. So if you're one of those who wants to start creating those videos and posting them, this workflow will ease your life. This workflow will remove a lot of manual labor from the creation of the videos and will also enable you grow your channel or your page much faster because it will automatically generate this content and post this content. And you can either let it post it straight to the page, or you can draft it and go back to it and review it later and just post it yourself. So let's go ahead to the TikTok and let me show you one of the samples that I used. So basically I stumbled upon this animal mafias and animal secret agents, and I found this content funny. It's AI generated. It may not be the most family friendly and might be a bit too dark. I just found it funny, liked it. So as you can see, it's about the, as I said, animal mafia, secret agents, and it revolves around this mouse that is named Team Cheese. And you can see this mouse all over here, all around, and you can see different kinds of animals. And if you look at the views this video gets, it's 2 million views, 1 million. I think it's likes actually, 1 million likes, and bunch more. So you can see that this kind of videos are high in demand and getting a lot of views. So let me show you quickly what kind of video my workflow generated for me in accordance with this. So I basically use this videos as my sample. So let me go ahead and play it.
It's Tim Cheese here. In this business, trust is sharper than a mousetrap. John Port calls, Simon Claw whispers, but I see everything from behind the shades. One nod from me. The Breadsticks gang knows what to do with traitors.
So as you can see, it generated a pretty cool. I like it a lot. And this video had the video itself, the background sound, like a music, and as well as the mouse talking from its own perspective. So let me go back to the workflow and let me explain you more what are the steps here. So whenever we start, we're going to pull all the information from Google Sheet. So inside our Google Sheet, we'll have information about the content type as well as the production statuses. And based on this production status, n8n is going to pull some information from there. For example, if it says for production, something is set for production, it's going to see, oh, something is set for production. Let me start generating content for it. Then it's going to message in the model, and the model is going to generate a prompt for us. And based on that generated prompt, it's going to go and pass on to the text to the image HTTP request. And this HTTP request will look at the prompt and will use it to generate an image. So after that image is generated, we started to generate, we're going to wait and we're going to do another HTTP request. And when we make another HTTP request, we're going to just get back a completion, basically the completion of the tasks that was generated at first. After that, we're going to go to another AI agent, which is going to be Sensitive Words Advisor. So the reason why I'm using this AI advisor is whenever you're trying to create a video, the platforms that we'll be using in today's video is very sensitive to the words that it can potentially label as sensitive. So I tested it a bunch of times, and sometimes it would give me a failure attempts. So basically my task wouldn't get executed and the video wouldn't generate. And it would always mark it as found some sensitive word inside the prompt. Even when nothing seemed off, there was no use of sensitive words. So I decided to create a sensitive word advisor with a prompt that works all the time, and it removes and plays safe whenever it sees like something may be sensitive, it's just gonna exchange it to another word. Then after the prompt is a bit adjusted to the sensitive words in regards to the sensitive words advisor's advice, we're gonna pass this prompt to the image to the video. And then this image to the video is going to generate us a video based on the image that we already have. For example, if it sees there's a mouse inside the image and you can see the whole posture of that mouse, it might make the mouse walk. Or if it sees the phone or something that says like, oh, the mouse is about to pick up the phone, it might make it pick up the phone in a video. And then we're going to get the video back after waiting for some time. And then we're going to pass it on to another model. And that another model is going to review the prompt again, and it's going to adjust it so the speech can be generated based off of that prompt with the use of 11 labs. After the speech is generated, the ones that you heard in the sample videos that I had, everything going to get merged together, and we're going to be using different platforms to achieve that result. So once everything merged together, that kind of result, the ones that I showed, is going to be final. So the platforms we're going to be using for today's video is going to be PyAPI, it's going to be 11 labs, and that's going to be mainly it. Inside the PyAPI, we're going to be using Flux for the image generation and Cling for video generation. I'm going to basically show you everything step by step. I'll show you how to create this exact same workflow and I'll go through everything inside the PyAPI as well as 11 labs. So bear with me and let's start building. So firstly, you have to ensure that you have a Google Sheet created in the same structures that I have. It doesn't have to exactly follow the structure I exactly have in this one, but something similar. So you can see I have ID, Animal Mafias, I have title, I have vibe, production, published status, and final result. So basically, if we look at the second row, we can see that I have ID number 1, tiger, pig, dog, bear, title as Team Cheese is seeking for the revenge, gangsters and mafia in Team Cheese's universe, and production status is completed, published status is published. So basically, at one point, this production status was very similar to the one I have right below. It was set for production, and published was status was pending. So our n8n went inside and looked for the column production, and whatever was set for production, it started generating videos. So as you can see, the video was generated and we can see these videos in the final result. So if we click on them, we're going to be redirected to the URL that contains the final video. And if we look at the raw number 4, we can see that we have mouse, bear, dog, pig, and Team Cheese is looking for revenge. I'm going to be using the same title, and production status is set for production, and publish status is set for pending. So this is something we're going to be using for today. And basically, this is very important that you keep up with it and you update it if you wanted the video to be generated for something that is set for production. So now we move to the blank workflow and we can start building. Let me move my camera to the left corner and I'm going to add the first step. The first step is going to be trigger manually. For now, we're going to keep it as trigger manually. Then later on, we're going to add another trigger at the end of the video. Let's test the workflow. And if you see green, that means everything is good. The trigger is set up correctly. And when it comes to trigger manually, it always works. So let's add the next step, which is going to be Google Sheet. We're going to look for get rows in the sheet. So here you'll have to connect with your own credentials. You'll basically just have to create new credential and you'll sign in with your Google account. Let's close it out. Resource is going to be sheet within document. Operation is going to be get rows. From list is going to be the document you guys are going to be using where you have the video structure and the video's information. For the sheet, I'm going to look for sheet number 1. And here we're going to add the filter. If you remember, I was talking that the n8n is going to work with the fields and columns that includes for production, because that's something we set for production, and that's something that is expected to be expected to be generated video for. So let's add a filter, and here we're gonna look for production, and here as a value we're gonna input for production the same exact ways that I have it inside my Google Sheet. So with this the step, we're gonna get one item back, and this is gonna be row number 4, ID, mouse, bear, dog, pig, Team Cheese is looking for revenge, and production status is for production, publish, pending. So now let's add another step. And the step is going to be edit fields. The reason why we're going to use edit fields, if you look on your left corner where you have all of your information right around here as a schema, you can see that you have 4 different strings. So Animal Mafia 1, Animal Mafia 2, 3, and 4, and they are all separate. However, we want to combine them all together and pass 4 items out to the next node. Because if we pass Animal Mafia 1 to the next node, only one information is going to be processed, mouse. But we want the video to be generated for mouse, bear, dog, and pig all together. So for that, we'll have to do manual mapping. We're going to tap on that part. We're going to create an array. So let's call it animals. We're going to be using array. And here you have to basically pull everything in the same exact ways that I have, with the brackets, quotes, and commas in between the strings. So keep it in exact same format and it's going to work for you as well. So let's test the step and you'll see the difference. So now, as you can see, all of our items, all of our strings are inside the array as one item. Now we can go back and we can see that, oh, it still outputs one item, but we want 4 items to be output. So for that, we're going to be using split out function. So here we're going to basically drag our array, and that's pretty much it. Test step. Now you have 4 items as an output. Yes, you might see only one item inside the schema, but if you go inside the JSON, you can see mouse, bear, dog, pig, and if we go back, you can see that 4 items got generated as an output, meaning that it's very good for us. Now all these 4 items is going to be, the work is going to be done for all of these 4 items, basically. So the next node is going to be OpenAI. We're going to message model. You'll have to connect you with your own credentials. You'll have to create new credentials. You'll have to paste your API key, and then you'll be able to set up your OpenAI account with it. Then for resource, I'm going to be using text. Operation is going to be message and model. Model, let's choose 4.1. And for prompt, I'm going to go back in one of the Google Docs I have where I have everything all set up, and I'm going to just copy it. You can basically pause right here, and you can copy and paste the exact same set prompt that I have. Let's add a message. It's going to be system. And I'm going to paste the prompts that I have. Let me open up as an expression so you guys can all see what kind of prompt I'm using and at least see the structure and the parameters that I'm giving for the prompt to be generated. So you can either create something similar, or if you want to build with me, you can just copy and paste the exact same prompt. I'm going to scroll down slowly so you can pause it and paste or copy the other parts of this prompt. I'm saying some important stuff here as well. Keep prompts under 900 characters, no use of quotation marks, and let's include the user message as well. So for the user message, it's going to be create the prompt for JSON animals, which is going to be mouse, bear, dog, pig. You just see mouse here, but it's going to be generated for each of the animals, and you'll see in a second. In the vibe of gangsters and mafia in Team Cheese's universe. Do you remember we had vibe inside the Google Sheet? You can be using different vibe, but that's what I'll be going with. Let's test the step. And we are expecting 4 items to be output to us. So let's see if that's what we get. Okay, so as you can see, we got 4 items as an output to us, and we can see Team Cheese, the tall and confident mouse, Hitman strides through a rain-soaked, neon-lit city street in his sharp-pinned striped suit. Here we have, as well as for the Hang Grizzle, which is the bear, we have for the dog, and we have for the pig as well, meaning that everything was set correctly and everything went through nicely. Now it's time for us to start generating images. For that, we're going to be using PyAPI, and let me show you what PyAPI is. Basically, that's the platform we'll be using. You'll have to connect to register, and let's go inside the workspace. And here you have different image models and you have video models. For this video, we're going to be using Flux as an image model, and video models we're going to be using Clink. So let's go inside Flux, and here we can go inside Run API, and you'll guys see that that's the way you can set it up. Basically, reading this documentation will help you out to set up the HTTP request. So let's copy this URL and let's go back inside our workflow. So we're going to set HTTP request, and here we're going to use method as a post URL, and here we're going to send headers and we're going to send body. If you guys go back into the documentation on how to generate an image based on the text, you will see the parameters that you have to input for the headers. So we'll be using our header parameters, which is going to be the header name is going to be X API key. Let's copy this part. Let's go back and paste it right here. In the value, you'll have to input your API key. So the way you can input your API key, if you go into your workspace and if you go into settings, API keys, all you have to do is basically just copy it. So let's copy it and let's go back. So we're going to insert it right here. And here you're going to be using JSON, So if we go back, you can basically copy this whole code. Let's copy it and let's go back. And we're going to paste it right here. So let's go inside the code and let's edit it a bit. So inside the prompt, we're going to change that to the prompt that was generated to us. And we're going to paste it in between here. I don't know why I got pasted here. And here we'll have to change it to 540 by 960. And now, if we test the step, we'll see the code 200, meaning that everything was successfully executed for us. And you can see that status is pending. Usually the image generation takes some time, and we can actually go inside the logs and see how long it usually takes. Let's go inside the image, Flux. So as you can see, the pricing is extremely expensive, and they do take around usually like 40 seconds. As you can see, I had some runs at 8:37. At 9:10, I had all the result back. So while we're waiting, let's create a next node. It's going to be wait node. So here, you'll have to probably add a wait amount as a minute or a minute and a half just to be safe, because you don't want your workflow to stop somewhere in the middle or at the start. But for now, we're going to keep it as 1 second. Let's test the step. And let's go back. So actually, let's go back to the HTTP request and let's rename it real quick so we don't get confused. So it's going to be text to image, rename. And here, let's add another node. Okay, I added it twice for some reason. Okay, let's connect it to the wait node. Let's go inside. Let's change the name here as well so we don't get confused between both. And we're going to call it as image generated. Rename it. Here, we're going to keep everything exactly the same, except for the URL and send body. We're going to unclick that part because we're not going to send anything. Method is going to be get. And task, we're just going to add a task ID at the end. So let's add task ID at the end, and let's remove all the spacing. So we sent out a task to PyAPI to be created and executed. Now we're going to get back the information from that task. So let's test the step. And as you can see, the image was completed, and this is the task IDs that we got the information back from. And let's actually go and see the picture. So we'll have to look for image URL, and you'll copy that URL. And if we go, let's see, you can just paste it right here. And as you can see, this is the image of the Team Cheese, the secret agent mouse. Looks pretty nice. I like the quality. I like the backlights. I like the suits that it used. Pretty cool. So let's go back inside now. And now it's time to generate a video. So since we have a video, since we have an image, we can go ahead and generate the video. But you remember I told you that Clink model of video generation is very hard on sensitive words. So I created a prompt that will help you out with that. So let's go into advanced AI, and we're going to be using AI agent. We're going to be using define below. And here we're going to add an option as a system message. And let me go back to my Google Doc again. And I have here sensitive words advisor. I'm going to copy all this prompt. And let me go back inside. I'm going to copy and paste it inside the system message. I'm going to open it up right now for you so you guys can see it for yourself. And you can either copy and paste the exact same thing, or you can just use it as a reference. I'm going to scroll down a bit slow. So I hope you guys stopped here and read whatever is going on with this prompt. And now inside this prompt user message, we're going to give it the original prompt that was generated for us, and we passed it on to the image generator. So if we test the step, actually something I forgot. Let's add chat model real quick. And for the chat model, I'm going to be using Anthropic and specifically Claude 3.5 Sonnet Old. I like this model the most when it comes to working with sentences, working with words, because I feel like it gives us the best result at the end. I tested different models, and that model gave me the best result. And with this model, I never had a failed task when it came to the video generation. So we're going to test the step. It's going to take a bit longer because it has 4 items to go through it, but we have 1 item generated, and now we'll go and compare what kind of words it substituted. It might substitute maybe the words that you might find a bit important, but it's not going to matter in the end result. So you can see that for some reason, our AI agent identified cheese as being a sensitive word. Basically, this AI agent is going to play very safe. Team Fromage, the tall and confident rodent enforcer strides through a rain-soaked neon lit street in his sharp strip suit. So as you can see, it changed the prompt a tiny bit. It didn't fully remove the words, but it substituted it with something else. So now let's add another node. And this node is going to be for video generation. Oh, I literally typed in video. It's going to be another HTTP request. So let's go back to our PyAPI workspace. And here, let's look for the Cling. When it comes to pricing of video generation, usually one video that is 5 seconds is about 26 cents. So 4 of those videos for 4 different animals is going to come a bit higher than $1 in as an overall. Let's run the API. And here you can find all the information basically. So here I'm going to copy. I'm actually going to go back. I'm going to delete this HTTP request, and I'm just going to copy the text to image because it's going to be very similar. Because we're using the API's endpoint, not Clings inside. We're going to be giving a call to the PyAPI, and we're going to be accessing Cling through it. So here we're going to be using post as a method, URL, application on, specify headers. And here we're going to be using somebody as well. And let me input my code. So as you can see, I input my code, and let's go ahead and look at the structure of the code. You can basically pause right here as well and copy the exact same code. That should work for most of the cases when it comes to the video generation. Doesn't matter what kind of AI generated videos you're creating. So here we have model Clink. Mode is going to be Pro. You can use standard as well, but we're going to be using Pro. Task type video generation. For the prompt, we're pasting the prompt that is all the corrected based on the sensitive words. Then we're going to paste image URL here. As you can see, we're pasting the image URLs that we found before when we were looking for our image. And we have some settings for our video generation. So let's go ahead and test the step. And as you can see, we have code 200, status is pending. When it comes to video generation, they usually take around 4 to 5 minutes to generate. So let's add another wait node. I'm going to put it as 1 second, but I would suggest you guys keep it at 300 seconds or 400 seconds. Let's go back actually to the HTTP request for the video generation and change the name. Text image to video. Rename. So here, we're going to basically copy the HTTP request that we already created. And we're going to connect it to the wait node, and we're going to do the exact same process that we did when we did text to image and image generation. So here, we're going to unclick send body. And inside here, we're going to basically feed the task ID. Now, all we have to do is just to wait for 5 minutes, and we're going to get our results back. So now after waiting some time, our videos got generated for us. Something I missed out to mention, when you use method, use as get. Now we tested the step, and if we go to our video URL, we'll be able to see what kind of video we got produced for us. Let's copy the URL. This is the image that was generated to us initially, and let's see what we got from it. As you can see, the mouse now is walking, looks cool, the quality is awesome, I like it. So now we can go back, and now we can actually generate a voice for our mouse. So for that, we'll have to put the limit to 1, because we want to only use one audio throughout the video, and the audio is going to be the mouse speaking. So let's test the step. Now we tested the step, we got only one item out. Let's add another node, which is going to be OpenAI. We're going to message a model, and let's use 4.1. GPT 4.1, and let me go back to my Google Doc, and I have here Sound Assistant. System based on a prompt. Okay, now we're gonna go, and here we're gonna add a message. We're gonna be using system, and here, based on a actually, let me open fully up so you guys can see. Based on prompt, you're given generate a speech for the plot of the prompt, no quotation marks in the output, less than 400 characters required. When we pass information to the 11 labs, it's important that we have less than 400 characters, otherwise it's going to give us a mistake. So now you can use the structure, or you can refine it and use it for your own case. And here we're going to be like generate speech for this based on this prompt. So let's look for our initial prompt that wasn't adjusted to the sensitive regulations of the Clink model. Okay, so we found our initial prompt. We're going to paste it right here. However, it's going to tell us, can determine which item to use, execute node for more info. So whenever you have this kind of issue, we know that this prompt is, was from one of the first node. So we're going to just remove that. And here we're going to do this part. Okay, so whenever you paste it in, just make sure you use first, parentheses, and now you'll have the prompt determined, Team Cheese, the tall, confident mouse hitman. So let's test the step. And now we should get back the speech. Names Team Cheese in this city, loyalty buys you survival, and betrayal gets you rain-soaked streets at midnight. So the speech was generated for us, and now let's go actually inside the 11 labs. And first things first, you would want to create your own voice based on the format you're going to be using, and if you're going to be using any voices. But for you to create a voice, you'll go inside the voices, whenever you're in the 11 labs, and once you register, you're going to add a new voice. And here you can click on a voice design. You can give a prompt and description of the voice you want to be generated, and then you can just test it and see whatever works for you the best. But let's see the voice I'm going to be using. Let's see. I didn't want to go in there.
Swimming in the ocean feels like dancing with the waves and becoming.
So I'm going to be using this voice, and for me to use this voice, I'll have to go in here and copy the ID of the voice. After we copy the voice ID, we can move to the API reference of the 11 labs, and we'll be looking for the endpoints, text to speech, create speech as a post method. So basically right here, you can actually go inside here, copy to clipboard. We're going to go back to our workflow, and we're going to do another HTTP request. Here, all you have to do is just import. And as you can see, everything got populated just for us. It has our API key, it has the header set up, as well as it has the body set up. So here we can keep everything exactly the same, except for a couple of things. Inside the value, we're going to be using the text, the speech that was just generated for us by our LLM model. And if we go up, if you guys see this part, we can just remove that, go back to the voices, copy the ID back again, and we're gonna paste the voice ID. So when we're making a call, we're gonna be using the voice that we just created. So let's go ahead and test the step and see what gets generated for us. So let's view.
Name's Tim Cheese. In the city, loyalty buys you survival, and betrayal gets you rain-soaked streets at midnight.
So as you can see, everything worked perfectly fine, and the voice was generated for us. Now it's time to combine everything together. But before we combine everything together, let me introduce you to the platforms that we'll be using. The platforms that we'll be using is called Creatomate, and I'm using a free plan here just for the purpose of testing this video. So I don't have the access to the highest qualities of the videos. So whenever it's going to be generated, the video is not going to be the highest quality. So if you want the video to be higher quality, exactly the same qualities that you remember when we generate our videos and we looked at them, they had a high quality. If you want that kind of result, you'll have to pay for this platform. So let's go. Whenever you actually get to the Creatomate, you have templates, and you'll have to create one of the templates, and I'll explain you why. So let's go inside one of the templates I created. So whenever we're going to merge everything together, we're going to be using this template. So this template includes videos, which is this part. So 4 5-second videos. It's going to be, for example, mouse, bear, pig, and a cat or a dog. And then we have one audio for the whole voice. And then we have an audio with the uploaded file of the background songs that you heard in the first demo that I guess showed you. So this background song is always embedded here and it's fixed. All of those are dynamic. So for you guys to achieve something like that, you'll either have to recreate exact same things that I have, which is not going to take a lot of time from you. It's not going to be that much of a problem. It's not that complex. But if you want, I'll just open my source editor and you'll see the codes that I have here. So I can just make it a bit larger maybe and move my camera a bit. I actually can't move my camera, but I hope you guys can see this code and you can just maybe use it as to recreate the exact same thing. So let's go back. And whenever we're going to be using this template, you're going to click on the use template, and here you have API integration. So you're going to be using the template ID you guys have here. So each template will have their own specific ID. So basically all of this video is going to be, and audio is going to be fed to this template, and it's going to all come together for you. So why don't we go back to the workflow real quick though? And in order to do that, our platform Creatomate will have to have the access to the audio. For us to achieve that, we have to first thing to do is to share to the Google Drive. So here we're going to be using upload file. We're going to connect with our credentials, resource file, operation upload, input data field name data, field name, file name, you can call it whatever you want. We're going to be calling it YouTube test. And now we can just test the step. Okay, we tested the step, everything got successfully executed. And now we uploaded it to Google Drive, but now we have to grant the access for someone who has the link to this audio. So for us to do that is another Google Drive. And here we're going to be using share file. Let me find where I can see share file. Okay. Here we're going to be using resource file, operation share, and from list, let's look for the files that we just uploaded. Okay. Let's just click and see if that's the correct. Okay, that's the audio, just making sure. And here we're going to add permission. So we're going to add it as a writer and anyone. Here we're also going to click on allow file discovery. So if it has the step, we're going to get everything successfully executed for us. Now the platform is going to be able to use this audio inside the Creatomate. So for us to achieve everything coming all together, we have to merge them. So we're going to use merge node, and we're going to use mode as combine and combine all possible combinations. Let's go back. Now we're going to drag this string to the merge from the upload file Google Drive node, and we're gonna move a string from the video generation. So we're gonna pass the video, so it got generated, and we're gonna pass the audio. So now if we go inside, we'll get 4 different outputs back to us, because one is for Team Cheese, the mouse, one is for the bear, and all together, and it's gonna be using one audio. Now, the next step is gonna be to structure all this data. So let's run a code. So if you see all of this data is messy, and we have to pass it to the creator mate. Let me go to the Google Docs that I have, and I have here a structure code. I'm gonna paste it right here, and you guys can pause it and copy exact same. I have video URLs and audio URLs, and they're gonna be all structured together. First, it's gonna be video URLs, and then audio URLs. So let's test the step. Let's see what the error is. Okay, so now everything got executed successfully. You can see we have table with the videos as well as the audio URLs. Now it's time to actually pass the HTTP request. Let's do the HTTP request. We're going to be using method post. So the URL we're going to be using, it can be actually found in creator made documentation. Something important to notice. For example, if we go to the creator made documentation, you'll be able to see API, post v1 renders. And here you can actually copy exact same format. We're going to be using API. So you're going to copy it from the HTTPS. And let's go back. Let's paste it right here. We're going to also send headers, and we're going to send the body. So send headers, let's go back. It's going to be our bearer and our API key. So bearer. Actually, let's name the header as well, authorization. And where you can find your API key, if you go to your creator made dashboard, you're going to go inside here, and you're going to look for project settings. Right here, you'll be able to see API key, click to reveal, and we can copy it. So let's copy it. Let's go back. We paste it bearer, space, and our API key. Now we're going to be using JSON as body. And let me go to my Google Doc again, and I have already set code. And we're going to pass this JSON right here. Let me open it fully up. So I had text before. Now I'm not going to be using text. So you guys can see the structure of this JSON. You can see I'm passing audio URLs, and I'm passing as well as the video URLs. Let me make it more structured. So now if we go back and we test the step, it should start pending. Let's test the step. And now everything is planned, status is planned, and we're waiting for the result back. Now we can put the wait node. For now, I'm going to be using 1 second. It usually doesn't take long. You just have to test it for yourself. But it's important to have wait node in between, and I would always keep some room, maybe make them a bit longer, because if you're running them automatically and this workflow is run automatically, you don't want it to stop somewhere just because something wasn't fully completed, or you don't want it to pass with something that wasn't completed and just pass the information that is not even done. Here it's going to be another HTTP request. And here it's going to be get method, and here we have URL. Now we're going to test the step, and we're going to get our final result. So as you can see, we can download this file, but it's what is going to be much easier is to actually copy this URL, and let's go inside and see what was generated for us.
Damn cheese. In the city, loyalty buys you survival, and betrayal gets you rain-soaked streets at midnight. John Port warned me about Simon Claw, but I don't flinch. I walk tall through the shadows, some sharp eyes sharper, ready to reclaim what's mine.
So as you can see, the video looks pretty fun and cool, and maybe a bit dark, but everything was generated for us, meaning now we have the final result, and everything can be run smoothly. However, the last step is, if you guys, for example, wanted to post it on YouTube or somewhere else, is to actually do it. So let's add and connect the YouTube node. And we're going to look for the uploaded video. Here we're going to connect with our YouTube account credentials. Also something to mention. So when it comes to YouTube account credentials or Google Drive account credentials, I'm going to leave a tutorial in the description. And based on that tutorial, you'll be able to connect everything all together and connect your YouTube account with n8n and connect Google Drive with n8n, and everything should be set for you. So here, resource is going to be video. Operation is going to be upload. Title is going to be one of the titles that I already had, and I already had in my Google Sheet structure. Let's look for the title. Let's connect it. Here, let's remove the item, and here, let's use first with parentheses, and now the content is determined, and we have Team Cheese is looking for revenge. Region code is going to be United States for us. Category name or ID is going to be full and animation. Input binary field data. Add option is going to be also privacy status, because I don't want this video to be published without me reviewing it. So I'm going to use it as unlisted. So now if we test the step, we're going to get the ID. And now if we go back to my channel, our short is going to be uploaded here. I think it's in the videos right now. As you can see, Team Cheese is looking for revenge. And once it gets loaded and uploaded, it's going to move to the shorts. So let's wait a second. And you see, we have it now in the shorts. It's unlisted, and we can choose to keep it as private or public after reviewing it. So now let's go back, and something important to keep up with. So at the end of the creation of the video, you want your workflow to go back to the Google Sheet. Let me find my Google Sheet. And as you can see, we just created the video for this item. So what we want is the final URL to be populated here, as well as the production to be changed to the completed, and publish changed to published. So let me add a Google Sheet node. We're going to be looking for, let's just choose a pen row in the sheet. And here, operation, we're going to be using, let's see, update row. So we're going to connect, as I said, with our Google Sheet credentials. The source sheet was within the document. Operation is going to be update row. The document is going to be videos. Sheet is going to be sheet 1. Map each column manually. ID. Now we have to use the IDs that is matching the video. So if we go back, we can see that 3 and for production. So we want to change for production to completed. So our number is 3. And here, if we go to production, completed, publish is published, published. And let me actually connect the node. I did not connect it. And now we're going to pass the final URL inside the final result. So let's test the step now. And everything should be updated. So as you can see, ID 3, production completed, published, published. So if we go back, you can see that the status of this have changed. At this point, everything should be set perfectly fine, and the workflow is systemized and created to the perfection. So the final trigger I'll be adding is going to be on a schedule. So let's add this trigger on a schedule. We're going to add on a schedule trigger, and we're going to set it up with our Google Sheet. So let's connect it. And let's go inside. So it depends on your guys' preferences. You can use it as trigger every day, maybe minutes, maybe seconds. Depends on how often you update that Google Doc or Google Sheets that we just created in this video, maybe weeks. And based on this trigger, for example, if it's set to once a day, for example, if you updated the sheet and you added 2 more rows with some information, it's going to create 2 different videos for you throughout the day after the trigger event was triggered. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll be leaving a link to the tutorials that I found useful a long time ago when it came to connected credentials, Google Drive, and YouTube channel. But if you have any other questions, or any questions actually with credentials, feel free to comment down below or email me or message me on my socials. I hope you enjoyed this video and you're ready to post and grow your channel with AI generated videos. Have a good one. Bye-bye.